Hello, everyone. My name is Leonardo Mora, and this is episode 5. You can Google or Bing me, Leonardo Mora, or tell me all about Leonardo Mora. Especially in Bing, it gives you a better summary. So this is episode 5 of Aeterna. Aeterna is our big project. Lifting humanity into the next level. So, episode 5 starts with the education problem. We are teaching humans for a world that is disappearing. Imagine a classroom in the year 2016. There are no rows of desks, no teachers standing in the front, no standardized textbook, no student anxiously memorizing hundreds of facts for an examination. Instead, each student has access to an intelligent cognitive system capable of explaining almost any subject at exactly the level the student needs. That's going to be awesome. A student can ask a question about quantum physics and receive a simple explanation, then ask for mathematics, then simulation, then explanation, challenge the explanation, then design an experiment, then compare the results with the world's scientific literature. Education has become something radically different. But the most important change is not technological, it's philosophical. The question is no longer how much does the student know? It becomes what can the student do with knowledge? That distinction may determine whether humanity reaches type 1 civilization successfully. So let's go to the old education system. For centuries, education was built around scarcity. Information was difficult to obtain, books were expensive, libraries were limited, teachers were scarce, communication was slow. If you wanted to learn something, you depended upon someone who already knew it. The teacher, therefore, became the gateway to knowledge. The educational system developed around that reality. The students attended classes, they listened, they memorized, they practiced, they took examinations. The system worked reasonably well for an information scarce civilization. But information is no longer scarce. The internet changed that. AI is changing it even further. A machine can now explain a concept instantly. It can translate, summarize, compare, generate examples, create exercises, write code, simulate scenarios, and increasingly it can adapt explanations to the individual. The traditional education model therefore faces a fundamental question. If machines can provide information almost instantly, what should humans spend years learning? The answer cannot be nothing. The arrival of AI does not make education less important. It makes education more important. But the purpose must change. A person who cannot think independently is vulnerable to an intelligent machine. A person who understands reasoning, evidence, uncertainty, and human behavior can use the machine as an amplifier. This produces a critical distinction. AI can produce answers. Education must teach judgment. The future student must learn how to interrogate information, how to recognize flawed assumptions, how to detect manipulation, how to distinguish correlation from causation, how to recognize uncertainty, how to ask better questions, and perhaps most importantly, how to recognize when the machine is wrong. Let me repeat that. The student must recognize when the machine is wrong. The new curriculum. A type 1 civilization needs fundamentally different educational architecture. Imagine a curriculum built around 7 capabilities. Number 1, observation. Before reasoning comes seeing. Students learn to notice what others overlook. Number 2, questioning. The quality of an answer depends heavily on the quality of the question. Number 3, rationality. Students learn evidence, logic, probability, and scientific reasoning. Number 4, intuition. Students learn to recognize patterns, generate possibilities, and listen to signals emerging from experience. Number 5, creativity. Students learn to create possibilities that do not exist yet. Number 6, collaboration. Students learn how to think with other people rather than merely compete against them. Number 7, judgment. Students learn how to decide what should actually be done. This is radically different from memorization. It is cognitive preparation for civilization. Education must become continuous. In the old model, education was something you completed. You went to school, you went to university, then you entered the workforce. But technological civilization changes too quickly for education to end at 22. A person born in 2026 may experience several completely different technological eras during one lifetime. A skill valuable at age 20 may be obsolete by age 40. A profession that does not exist today may become dominant tomorrow. Therefore, education cannot be a phase of life. It must become a permanent layer of life. Let me repeat that. Education cannot be a phase of life that ends. It must become a permanent layer of life until the end. People will continuously learn. AI will continually to teach. Humans will continuously adapt. The boundary between education and everyday life may disappear. The teacher's new role. Teachers will not disappear. Their role may become more important even. But the teacher of the future may spend less time delivering information. Instead, teachers may become mentors, question designers, scientific guides, psychological coaches, ethical advisors, intellectual partners. Their responsibility will be to help students become independent thinkers. The best teacher may no longer be the person who knows the most. It may be the person who knows how to awaken the most thinking in other human being. The danger of AI education. There is a danger. If AI becomes too convenient, the students may stop thinking. Why struggle through a difficult problem if the answer is one sentence away? Why learn to write if AI can write? Why learn mathematics if AI can calculate? Why remember history if AI can retrieve it? Because the purpose of education was never simply to produce answers. It was to develop the mind capable of understanding answers. If AI removes every intellectual struggle, it may accidentally remove some of the processes through which intelligence develops. The solution is not to reject AI. It is to design education where AI becomes a thinking partner rather than a thinking replacement. Education and Aeterna. Aeterna therefore views education as one of the foundations of Type 1 civilization. A civilization cannot become more capable than the humans it develops. Technology can amplify intelligence, but education determines how that intelligence is directed. If we teach children only to follow instructions, AI will become their master. If we teach children to question, imagine, test, and decide, AI can become their partner. The educational revolution is therefore not about replacing classrooms with computers. It is about creating humans capable of living responsibly inside a civilization increasingly filled with intelligence. And that leads directly to one of the most important questions of all. What kind of intelligence should humans cultivate when machines become extraordinarily rational? That is our next episode. Thank you.